Welcome back to Mathematical Economics class. So in this class, I'll be talking about the component of total cost. So depending on whether a firm is in the short run or in the long run, the components will differ. So for example, in the short run, there are two components of total cost. The first component is what we call fixed cost, the fixed cost, okay? So the second component is what we call variable cost. Okay, if you like, you can pluralize and say cost, cost, okay. But in the long run, we have only one component because it is only in the short run we have some input of production fixed. Because some input of production are fixed in the short run, so a firm will have fixed cost. It's going to have some costs that are fixed. Those costs represent the cost of fixed input in the short run. But because in the long run, there are no fixed inputs. So, in other words, no fixed cost. All costs in the long run are variable. Because in the long run, there are no fixed inputs. All costs in the long run are variable. So, in other words, in the long run, there's only one component. So, that component is just variable cost. Okay? Meaning that, so, in the short run, the total cost function, that the short run total cost function will include these two components. Okay, it's going to include these two components. So in other words, if you see something like this, that C equals, let's say we now have, let's say we have 2Q plus 100, okay, as the case may be, or you have another one, let's say 2, we have TC equals, let's say, maybe 10Q squared plus 5Q plus 20. Okay, let me take another one. TC equals, let's say, 5Q plus 4Q squared plus 100. Okay, or plus anything, can be plus anything. So you can see that in this function, you have part of this function that actually depends on Q, okay, and you have part that does not have Q. For example, here you can see, you can partition into two. We have this part that is constant, okay. Here represent the firm fixed cost. This is fixed cost, and this part without fixed component is known as variable cost component. Okay, take away the constant without Q, so this one is fixed cost here. So in other words, for this one, okay, can you identify the fixed cost part for this one and the variable cost part for this one? So let me see your answer in the comment section. Okay, so any function you say like this that consists of the fixed or constant part, okay, you have constant in the total cost function. So that tells you that you have some costs that are fixed and the firm is in the short run. That's what it implies. But for long run total cost function, because all costs are variable, so in the long run your total cost will always be equals to total variable cost. So TC equal, you won't have that constant part which is fixed cost component. So what you are going to have, you are going to have all the costs are going to depend on Q. Okay, all costs are depending on Q. So in other words, let's say we have like Q squared plus 5Q. Okay, so you can have something like, you cannot have something like, you cannot have constant being added to it, maybe 10, 20, you cannot have it in the long run because there is no, or there are no fixed cost component in the long run.